She said she needed space. The words didn't break Daniel. They hollowed him. In the still air of their apartment, silence became the loudest sound had ever heard. Claire had looked at him with those eyes, half love, half escape, and whispered a sentence that rearranged his world. Have you ever loved someone so that their absence felt like gravity itself, turning against you? Or wondered if distance could make two hearts find each other again? Or prove they were never meant to be together at all? The city outside kept breathing, but Daniel felt like time had stopped the moment she closed the door. Days blur. The apartment smells of dust and forgotten music. Daniel walks into the cafe again. Not for coffee, but for silence that doesn't judge. Maya notices. Her smile is shy, unguarded, and something about it reminds him of peace he hasn't felt in years. Healing doesn't always arrive with a grand gesture. Sometimes it's just a stranger who remembers your order without asking. Elsewhere, Claire scrolls through her phone. A single tagged photo stops her. The cafe, the smile, Daniel laughing. She feels the sting not of betrayal, but of realizing how fast the space she created has been filled. Love doesn't vanish. It shifts, finding new air to breathe. Daniel begins to laugh again. Not because he's forgotten, but because pain finally learned to breathe. Maya listens without interruption. She doesn't ask about the past. She just exists in the present. Outside, rain lightens into sunlight. Maybe healing isn't the absence of loss. It's the choice to stop worshiping it. That same afternoon, Claire drives past his street. She doesn't plan it. It just happens. Through the windshield, she sees Daniel and Maya laughing in the soft light of late day. She grips the wheel tighter. Some choices don't end with goodbye. They echo through the spaces we thought we'd escaped. The silence that once comforted Claire now feels like punishment. Nights stretch longer, and the space she asked for becomes a cage she can't escape. She scrolls past Daniel's name, but can't bring herself to message him. Pride has its own kind of loneliness. It keeps you from the very thing you ache for. Meanwhile, Daniel finds himself smiling more, but every time he does, guilt lingers like a shadow that refuses to fade. Healing isn't clean. It's messy, complicated, and full of ghosts that knock when you start to forget them. In the cafe, laughter weaves between the sound of cups and rain tapping the window. Maya talks about her dream of opening a small art studio, her hands painting shapes in the air. Daniel listens, not because he's trying to replace anyone, but because he finally feels seen without needing to be fixed. Somewhere deep inside, a cautious hope begins to hum again. Claire types a message, "How have you been?" then deletes it. She scrolls through her gallery instead, pausing at a picture of their last vacation. Her reflection overlays the photo, her present self ghosting her past. Regret doesn't scream. It whispers, "You left too soon." One evening, Maya invites Daniel to a small art exhibit she curated. The walls are covered in portraits of strangers, faces painted with emotion instead of detail. Every brushstroke, she says, is what someone didn't say. He looks at one painting, a pair of figures fading into fog, and sees his own story. Some wounds don't need to close. They just need to breathe. That night, Claire scrolls again. Another tagged post, another photo of Daniel smiling beside Maya. For the first time, she doesn't feel anger. She feels absence. She whispers into the dark, "I wanted space, not silence." And for a heartbeat, she wonders if she's already too far gone to find her way back. A single text can change everything, or nothing at all. Claire types, erases, and types again. "Can we talk?" The words blink in her drafts, small but heavy. Across town, Daniel sits beside Maya at the cafe, unaware of the digital storm brewing miles away. Sometimes closure doesn't come from endings. It comes from the courage to open what still hurts. The universe waits, breathless between send and delete. Daniel feels it before it happens, the way a memory crawls back without warning. The cafe hum fades as he stares into his cup, realizing he hasn't thought about Claire for almost a whole day. And that scares him. Maya reaches out, touching his hand gently. "You're somewhere else," she says softly. He nods, not knowing if he's sorry or grateful. Healing can feel like betrayal when love still lingers. Claire decides not to send the message. Instead, she writes it in her journal. The words she'll never say. "I miss you, but I miss who I was with you more." She closes the notebook, exhales, and for the first time, doesn't cry. Sometimes silence is the only apology left to give. Later that week, Maya and Daniel walk through the park, autumn leaves whispering beneath their shoes. She tells him, "You don't have to be fully healed to be loved." He stops, the words sinking deep. For the first time, he believes it might be true. But when his phone buzzes and Claire's name flashes on the screen, his heart forgets what it just learned. The message isn't from Claire. It's a memory. A photo she posted. An old picture of them on the beach, captioned "Learning to Let Go." Maya sees it too. The silence between them thickens. Not all ghosts haunt to hurt. Some just want to be remembered. But remembrance has a cost. And love, once reopened, doesn't know how to close neatly. The past doesn't text. It shows up. Daniel hears a soft knock one Sunday morning, the kind that carries hesitation. When he opens the door, Claire stands there. Her eyes say everything her words can't. Behind him, the sound of a kettle finishing its boil fills the silence. Maya is still in the kitchen. Time folds, breath stops, and for a second, no one belongs anywhere. Some moments aren't choices, they're collisions. Maya appears in the doorway, still holding a cup of tea. No introductions are needed. Silence makes the truth obvious. Claire's lips tremble as she says, "I just wanted to return your book." It's a lie, small but necessary. Daniel takes it gently, unsure whether to smile or to breathe. The space between all three of them becomes unbearable, thick with what was and what could have been. The air shifts after Claire leaves. Maya places her cup on the counter, voice steady but soft. "Do you still love her?" The question hangs, heavier than truth. Daniel hesitates, not because he doesn't know, but because love and memory are hard to tell apart. Sometimes what we call still love is just the part of us that refuses to die with goodbye. That night, Claire drives aimlessly through empty streets, the book she didn't mean to return sitting on the passenger seat. She whispers to no one, "He looked happy." And the truth stings, not because he moved on, but because she didn't think he could without her. Regret isn't wishing you hadn't left. It's wishing you hadn't waited so long to come back. Meanwhile, Daniel lies awake beside Maya, eyes open in the dark. Her breathing is calm, steady, real. But in the corner of his mind, he still hears Claire's knock echoing. The universe never gives closure for free. It trades it for peace. And sometimes peace looks nothing like happiness. The next morning, the world pretends nothing happened, but hearts don't. Daniel stirs his coffee, watching the swirl of cream dissolve, wishing emotions did the same. Maya doesn't ask more questions. She only studies him, seeing the war behind his calm. Across the city, Claire drafts an email she'll never send, the kind that begins with, "I've been thinking," and ends with nothing at all. Love doesn't die, it waits. Claire tries to return to her routine. Work, errands, friends, but everything reminds her of the life she once built with Daniel. In a moment of weakness, she drives by his building again, just to see if the light in his window is on. The ache isn't for him. It's for who she used to be when he looked at her like she was home. In the quiet of the gallery, Maya works alone, hanging new canvases. Daniel arrives unexpectedly, holding a takeout coffee. They stand among unfinished paintings, portraits half done, faces fading into blank space. "They look like us," he says. Incomplete. Maya smiles softly. Maybe that's what makes them honest. For a heartbeat, everything feels almost right. Later that evening, Claire stands before the mirror, rehearsing what she'll say if she ever sees him again. I'm sorry. Feels too small. I miss you. Feels too late. Her reflection stares back, unmoved. Sometimes healing means realizing you can't go back. Not because the door is closed, but because you no longer fit the shape of who you were. That night, Daniel receives a voicemail. It's Claire's voice, brief, trembling, saying only, I hope you're okay. Maya hears it too. She doesn't speak, but her eyes say everything. Choose. The line between healing and hurting finally blurs. And for the first time, Daniel realizes that love can't be measured by who left, but by who stayed. Days pass, but Daniel can't shake the sound of that voicemail. It echoes in his head like unfinished music. Maya senses the drift, the way he's present but far away. Love doesn't always end with anger. Sometimes it just fades into quiet confusion. When he finally decides to see Claire, it isn't for closure. It's for honesty. The kind that hurts, but heals what's left. Claire opens the door before he knocks twice. The moment feels both familiar and foreign. Two people who once shared everything now uncertain where to begin. You look good, she says. He almost smiles. You too. They both know it's a lie. The truth is harder. They look like people who survived each other. Inside, the apartment smells the same. Lavender, dust, and time. They sit across from each other like strangers in a museum of old memories. Claire finally whispers, I thought space would help us find ourselves. Daniel nods. It did. Just not together. The silence that follows is heavy but kind. They both understand. Not all love stories are meant to continue. Some are meant to end gracefully. Maya waits in the park, phone in hand, unsure if he'll come. She's not angry, just tired of competing with ghosts. When Daniel finally arrives, she doesn't ask where he's been. He simply sits beside her, the distance between them a quiet confession. I saw her, he says. I know, she replies. Some people love you even as they prepare to let you go. They walk together until dusk settles, saying nothing. The world feels lighter somehow, as if truth had quietly rearranged the air. Maya finally smiles, small but real. You don't owe me promises, she says. Just honesty. Daniel nods, the words anchoring him. For the first time, he's not chasing what was or fearing what's next. He's just breathing. Morning comes soft and slow the way healing does. Daniel wakes to silence, not the kind that aches, but the kind that breathes. The weight in his chest feels lighter, the world less sharp. He makes coffee, opens the window, and lets the cool air in. Somewhere, he knows Claire's doing the same. Sometimes closure isn't a conversation. It's a quiet understanding shared from afar. Across town, Claire sits at her desk, finally finishing a letter she started months ago. It begins with I'm sorry and ends with thank you. She doesn't plan to send it. Some words are meant only to set you free. When she signs her name, she exhales. And for the first time, the silence in her apartment feels peaceful. At the gallery's new exhibit, Maya walks among her finished paintings. Each one tells a story of imperfection, unfinished faces, half-drawn hands, incomplete gestures. But now they don't look like loss, they look like truth. When Daniel enters, they share a quiet nod. No grand reunion. Just respect and gratitude for the chapter they helped each other write. Later that evening, Claire walks along the riverside path where she once met Daniel years ago. The air smells like rain and beginnings. She stops, looks at the reflection of city lights dancing on the water and smiles. Not because she's moved on, but because she finally knows how. The story doesn't end where love leaves. It ends where healing begins. Daniel, Claire, and Maya, each in their own quiet corners of the world, carry the same truth forward. Sometimes space isn't distance, it's grace. Love, in its truest form, doesn't need to last forever to mean forever.